Let's go. Welcome to Soca Sunday, everyone. Emancipation Day, August 1st. Give us free. That's right, Jay Tillman. We're going to talk about it today. We have exited the carnival season. No Bam Bam Wall today, ladies and gentlemen. No Bam Bam Wall today. Today we celebrate the free Africans of the Caribbean. Now, I do encourage you, as always, to seek knowledge, my friends. Seek knowledge. Nothing is true in our lives. Everything is permitted. We have choice. We are free. We are no longer the slaves. Seek knowledge and evolve, my friends. The world around us is not an absolute reality. Your reality is subjective to what you choose to explore in this vast, vast, vast world. Get out there and explore. What you limit yourself to and experience is your own responsibility. Thank you for experiencing Culture Invasion with your boy CIP today. Now, with that being said, what you know about slavery is not the complete story. What you know about slavery is not the complete story. Your reality is subjective to what you've chosen to explore in the world. The views you've decided and made the choice to adhere to. There's more out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's more out there. Now, we're not going to focus on the struggle in North America, but I do highly encourage you as a scholar, as I'm sure you are, someone who does the research, to investigate a rebellion that occurred in the United States beginning on August 21st, 1831, the Nat Turner Rebellion. The Nat Turner Rebellion. I highly, highly, highly encourage you as an American FBA and or ADOS, as you so identify yourself, so that you can better familiarize yourself with where America was. Because today we're focusing on the Caribbean. My lineage, the Lucians. While August 1st is celebrated across the region widely, I'm learning a little bit about my people. My home planet, St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Soca Sunday. Let's go.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit. If I was you, I would cut up my wrist.
Is not simply what our ancestors overcame. The question is what we will become because of what they overcame. Will we build a nation where every child knows the value of heritage? Where culture is not seen only as entertainment, but as education, innovation, opportunity, and identity?
When we speak about creating pathways for the future, it's about that. Let's remember what we've been through in the past. Let us remember that nobody's going to come to save us. Nobody's going to give us a free lunch. They've never done it in the past, and they will not do it in the future.
Message!
So we now need to reflect on that theme, and how each of us individually, like Ramona said, what can we do to create that prosperous future?
Sensational.
May your heart find peace anywhere you come from. Coulda up, you coulda down. Blessings on my nation.
Salutations, salute, sakafet. What's up to all my beautiful people from all corners of the world? It's Soca Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. It's Soca Sunday. Let's go. Make sure I got this set up right. How we doing today, everybody? I want to welcome you to the show. Today is a day of reflection. A day of reflection. The party's over. We've already been there, done that with Carnival. We'll go back to it. What I might do is a remix of last Sunday's show because of the audio and technical issues. For you, ladies and gentlemen, for you, we might do a remix of the recap of Carnival. So, bear with me. The Queen search, Carnival is Woman, the celebration. Bear with me. We might redo that. But anyway, thank you so much for being here with your boy CIP. I want to welcome you to the show, everyone. We have a lot to go over today. We're learning today. Your boy CIP did some research. I had to do research. We're going to learn. I put a nice presentation together for you. So we're going to learn about emancipation today. It's all about the Caribbean, all right? As I said in my opener, I highly encourage you to seek knowledge about your history, especially history here in the United States, and how it correlated to the struggles within the Caribbean. Your boy CIP is doing a lot of research on both sides, being a half-breed from both lands, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, proudly. Damn proud Lucian. Rocking the damn proud Lucian threads today, ladies and gentlemen. Damn proud of both heritages, damn proud of both lineages, damn proud of both cultures. I highly, highly, highly suggest that you embrace the same, all right? Let's go. Paperwork. We got to take care of the paperwork. You are here for a reason. You are here to gain knowledge, a little bit of culture, plenty of entertainment, full gamut of discussions. You'll find it all here. Culture Invasion, Culture in Paradise, Cat in Poncho Gaming. Culture in Paradise. Thank you so much for everyone who is subscribed over on that channel. That is where all the good vibes, the travel vibes, the vibes about being masculine, being a man, being an uncle, getting older, what the journey looks like. That's what we're doing over there. The traveling, the self-improvement. Cat and Poncho Gaming. For those of you who are the gaming heads, we are going back to gaming. Don't worry, it's been a while. That channel hasn't gotten much attention, but we're going back. I gotta get that spare time in there, right? All right, that being said, this channel today, Soca Sundays, brought to you by Mr. JP, all my hoes demonetized. Sir, thank you so much for your kind contribution. You are the proud producer of the show for the 2026 season. And we are only halfway through the year, ladies and gentlemen. So there's plenty more to come. Plenty more. All right. Now, again, you're here for a reason. And I thank each and every one of you, my subscribers. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and I thank the good people of Nepal. You don't even know what you did, but you're brilliant anyway, because the brilliance is the best brilliance is brilliance born not from someone ignorant.
God don't make no mistakes. You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. God don't make no mistakes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. We are, 8-9 away from 600 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Like I said, there's plenty of content over here. Something that will appeal to you in some way, shape, or form. That being said, today it's all about knowledge. Today it's all about learning a little bit more about my lineage, about celebrations that I've never partaken in. As time has passed, opportunity has just not presented itself, and I am a lost son of my island. Being born in America, being born stateside, there were certain things I wasn't exposed to. So there were certain things that I missed out on. These celebrations honoring the culture. So we're going to talk about that today, ladies and gents. And we're going to get right into it. All right. So where do we start? Before the arrival of the colonizers, all right? Before the arrival of the colonizers, there were tribes, inhabitants, all across the Caribbean. All across the Caribbean. 17 Caribbean countries, 17 answers to the same question. Taino held the Greater Antilles. Kalinago held the Lesser Antilles. The Lucayan held the Bahamas until Spain took 40,000 of them to the mines and left 11. Cayman had nobody. Guyana, Suriname, Dominica, and Belize still count indigenous citizens in their census. The rest do not. Now, there was a lot of debate in the chat, in the comment section. So we're going to ignore that for now. But as far as the Post is concerned, the original inhabitants of these Caribbean countries, this is only in part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is only in part. I will be a little bit on the preachy side, reminding you. I'm going to continue to remind you that nothing is true and everything is permitted. All right, you are permitted as a free-born man or woman on this earth. You are free to seek knowledge and evolve. To seek knowledge and evolve. So please, by all means, do not take this higher level history as all that is written. Each one of these tribes, each one of these countries have their own nuances. All right? Some countries were left out of the text, but I'll fill in the blanks for you. To the best of my knowledge, of course, right? So, what do we have here? Alua, I see you out there, sis. I see you out there. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this, I want to welcome everyone, as I already have. But Alua, thank you very much for being here. Jay Tillman, Majid, what's good, bro? Nice to see you as well. Those of you who have been lighting up the comments, I can't leave you out. Y'all have been out here, Black Couch, Majid, bro. Thank you so much for joining. Reaper, what's good, bro? What's good? Who else we got out here? I think I saw the show producer. The show producer, where's he at? There he is right there. Mr. All My Hoes Demonetized, sir. Thank you so much.
It's sounding sweet when we sing it in the street. Ratty, 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 ray. Jam one another. Ratty, 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 ray. Soaking is over, rocking it up, rocking it up. Oh,
I think we're back. It kicked me out. I don't know. It was the interweb. It was not my side this time. Your boy CIP system's working all right so far. Interweb hiccup. Thank you so much for being patient, everyone. We back. We back. All right. So, let me get my screen share back. Screen share is still there. All right. I think we good. All right. All right. So as I was saying, please seek knowledge, ladies and gents. You want to find out more history for yourselves. This is a high-level view of what's going on here in the Caribbean. All right. The original inhabitants of these Caribbean countries. Cuba, Taino, and Guanahatabe. Right? Cuba's last census recorded a majority identifying as white, just over a quarter as mixed, and around a tenth of them as white. But these are their ancestors. Haiti, Taino. Roughly 95% of Haitians are of African descent. And in 1804, Haiti became the first black republic in the world. 95% of Haitians are of African descent. 95% of that country wiped out the original Tainos during the colonization. Dominican Republic, Taino. Most Dominicans today are of mixed African and European descent, though Taino words like huracan and barbacoa never left the language. There's also breakdowns to be done. Again, I highly encourage you to seek knowledge for yourselves, because if you know people from Cuba, you know people from the Dominican Republic, you know people from Puerto Rico, there are still individuals who have a percentage of their ancient blood. All right? Puerto Rico, as mentioned, Taino. Puerto Ricans are largely of mixed Spanish, African, and Taino ancestry. Indigenous mitochondrial DNA remains widespread in the population. There are friends of ours that are out here in the YouTube streets that are part Taino. Jamaica, Taino. In the 2011 census, 92.1% of Jamaicans identified as black, among the highest shares anywhere in the Americas. But again, of Taino ancestry, wiped out from colonization. Bahamas, Lucayan. Spain shipped close to 40,000 of these original humans to the mines of Hispaniola. And by 1520, officials searching the islands found 11 people left. Bahamas. Cayman Islands, none recorded. No archaeological evidence of pre-Columbian settlement has ever been found here. The first permanent resident was born on Grand Cayman around 1700, as recorded. Again, do your research. There may be something hidden. There may be something that you know that we don't know. Each one of us is smarter than one another. Please share your knowledge. Belize, the Maya. Belize is now just over half Mestizo and a quarter Creole, with Maya communities still close to a tenth of the population. Shout out Belize. Guyana, 9 indigenous nations. Indian Guyanese are the largest group at 39.8%, and African Guyanese, 29.2%, while the 9 indigenous nations remain at 10.5%. That's also mainland, so you have to understand that's also the mainland attached to South America. Yes, that's Guyana is part of the Caribbean, ladies and gentlemen. Suriname, Dilocono, Kalina, Trio, and Wayana. The Hindustani Surinamese are the largest group at 27%. The Maroons at 21.7%. And indigenous people at 3.8%. Suriname still holds a 3.8 percentage of the original indigenous. TNT, where you at? Trinidad. Kazo, shout out to Trin, FD, and HT. Trinidad and Tobago. The Nipuyo, Warao, Locono, and Kalina tribes, Indo-Trinidadians, make up 35.4%. And Afro-Trinidadian... One more time. Trinidadians, Afro-Trinidadians, 34.2%. 34.2%. The Santa Rosa First Peoples Community. Trin has talked about them. The Santa Rosa First Peoples Community still holds its Heritage Week in Arima. Let's go. Shout out to Trinidad. Barbados. The Saladoid. settlers, then Arawak-speaking people. Arawak-speaking people also permeated across St. Lucia. Spanish slave raids had emptied the island by 1541. So Spanish slave raids had pretty much wiped out Barbados, all the natives, by 1541. You just decimate. Genocide. An entire people. The population England found in 1627 was nobody at all. What did you think about that for a moment? Right? Dominica, the Kalinago. Now, the name Kalinago is also a very, very general term for the Lesser Antilles, the Southern Caribbean. The Southern Caribbean, the indigenous. It is also an overarching, you will hear people use Kalinago as the overarching group that these other tribes fell under. These are my people. These are the Lucians, the Kalinago, with the Arawak, speaking the Arawak with the Arawak influences. I do believe the Arawak were the ancients, the Kalinago where it came from them, forming from the different tribes that migrated and traveled between the islands and traded between the islands and had their own routes of trade between the different islands back in these times. So the Kalinago, hailing from Dominica, you'll see the other islands as well, St. Lucia included. Around 85% of Dominicans are of African descent, and roughly 3,000 Kalinago live on communally held land on the East Coast. Now we go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Again, a neighboring island, Kalinago. All right. Most Vincentians are of African descent, and the Garifuna, who formed on its island, were deported to Central America in 1797. So there were also forced migrations and deportations from homelands to other areas across the Caribbean. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Kitts and Nevis, very much the same. St. Lucia, very much the same, as mentioned. Kalinago. More than 90% of the population is of African descent, and on island, the Kalinago are called Laim Uniga. Guadeloupe, Kalinago. Again, Guadeloupe is a French department that pays in euros, with a population mostly of African and mixed descent. A French department, a French colony. African and mixed. Aruba, the Caquito. Help me, folks. If you're more familiar, there's always somebody smarter in the room, of course. Most Arubians are of mixed European, African, and Caquito descent. Words are still buried in Paipamento. So there were also people who were smarter than your boy CIP in the chat, in the comment section, and they also highlighted the fact that there were some of the images are incorrect, referring to some of the text. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please seek knowledge on your own. All right? Nothing is true and everything is permitted. So seek this knowledge on your own. Fill in the blanks for yourselves. I'm going to go on and pop this link in the chat as well. Use it as a reference. Use it as a springboard for your future research, right? All right. We're going to start with a timeline. Now, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this show, beginning in 1831, August 1831, the Nat Turner Rebellion was taking place here in the United States, here in America. Go do your research and follow the timeline. What we're talking about today is Caribbean freedom, is emancipation for the British colonized Caribbean. African emancipation. Every year on August 1st, something remarkable happens across the Caribbean. Drums roll before sunrise in Port of Spain. Processions wind through Georgetown. Flags are raised in Kingston. School halls in Bridgetown fill with poetry and song. And in community centers from London to Toronto to Brooklyn. London to Toronto to Brooklyn. People of Caribbean descent gather to mark the same date. The date that their ancestors first used the word free and meant it without conditions. The date is August 1st, 1838, and the story of how the Caribbean got there. And at what cost? It is one of the most extraordinary, infuriating, and ultimately triumphant narratives in all of human history. The three dates you need to know: 1833, 1834, and 1838. They are not the same. Most people have heard of 1834 as the year slavery ended in the British Caribbean, but that is only part of the story. An incomplete version that lets the colonized system off too easily. You've heard your boy CIP use this word before, but paper genocide. Not only the genocide of the people, but genocide of the records of the people, so that you no longer have an accurate historical perspective. Okay? It's enough that we as humans fight one another, war, fight Mother Nature, famine, floods, fires. But we also paper genocide. So we're fighting a lot when we try to rebuild these histories. 1833, right? So 1831, Nat Turner Rebellion. 1833, the Act. Britain's Parliament passes the Slavery Abolition Act on August 28, 1833. Slavery is to be abolished, but slaveholders will be compensated. The enslaved will receive nothing. 1834, the False Dawn. The Act takes effect on August 1st, 1834, August 1st. But the formerly enslaved people are placed into mandatory apprenticeship, forced to keep working on the same plantations for years with the same slave masters for up to 6 years or more. 1838, true freedom. August 1st, 1838, after sustained resistance and pressure from the Anti-Slavery Society, Parliament ends apprenticeship. Over 800,000 people are unconditionally free. This is the date Emancipation Day commemorates. The apprenticeship system was sold to the British public, to you and me, the proletariat, the same way that our President Donald Trump sells us ideas. The apprenticeship system was sold to the British public as a transition period, a humane way to ease the colonies from the enslavement to free labor. In practice, it was slavery under a different name, of course. Apprentices could not leave their estates without a pass. They were required to work more than 40 hours without pay in exchange for only housing and food. Absenteeism was punishable by imprisonment, and I'm sure, as we all know, especially here in the United States, absenteeism from your station as a slave was death. Flogging, including that of women, was still legally permitted. Absolutely. They changed the paperwork, they did not change the chains. Apprenticeship was the system calling itself progress while standing still. I love that. Humans saying that they're busy but not accomplishing anything. We see that. Oh, I'm busy, but what are you accomplishing, my G? It took 4 more years of organized resistance, petitions from the Anti-Slavery Society, and sustained pressure on the British Parliament before apprenticeship was abolished. When it finally ended ahead of schedule on August 1st, 1838, it was not a gift, It was a concession wrestled from a system that had never willingly surrendered anything. Reparations sound familiar to anyone? The proof emancipation was not given. They had to fight for every inch of it. A myth persists that enslaved Africans in the Caribbean were passive, that freedom was bestowed upon them. Enlightened European abolitionists moved by moral conviction. The historical record tells a dramatically different story. Don't you love the romanticism of life? How we make things so flowery and flourished, and we add all these, well, things were bad, but the government did create public structures and systems to make it all better. Be happy with what you got. Between 1807 and 1838, we're talking about the Caribbean, 1807 and 1838, we just went back in time. Again, for those of you who are the FBAs, the ADOS, the My Life is More Important Than Yours blacks in America, the Nat Turner Rebellion was August 21st, 1831. Follow the bouncing ball. Follow the bouncing ball. What were you doing? Up north while we were doing this down south. Between 1807 and 1838, three major mass rebellions. Nat Turner is the uprising that resulted in the death of just 55 to 60 whites. Just 55 to 60. In the Caribbean, three major mass rebellions shook the British Caribbean to its foundations. Each one more extensive than the last, each one punishing the colonial system. Closer to collapse. Each one directly influencing the political calculations that produced the Slavery Abolition Act in 1833. For instance, in 1816 Barbados, Busa's rebellion, led by Busa from Africa, on Bailey's plantation in St. Philip. This was the largest slave revolt in Barbados history. The uprising spread across more than half the island, with an estimated 4,000 rebels burning crops across 70 plantations and destroying a quarter of Barbados' annual sugar harvest. I love that. I love that. Oh, what a shame. Now, this is sad. Busa did die. Became a national hero from this. But his rebellion was the first of the three great late slave revolts and permanently shook colonial confidence in the plantation system. Imagine you thinking you got that town over there on lock just to have everything ripped away from you. 1823, Demerara. The Demerara Rebellion, over 10,000 enslaved people, part of a colony in Guyana, rose up in August of 1823 demanding the freedom they had heard was being discussed in the British Parliament. Colonial military suppressed the rebellion brutally, executing dozens of leaders, but the uprising reverberated in Britain. It's kind of funny how so many people call Britain the motherland. It just seems pure colonized to me. Galvanizing the abolitionist movement and making it increasingly difficult for Parliament to argue that the enslaved had accepted their condition. And not only do they call Britain the motherland, but they don't go to the motherland to actually pull from the records and demand the records of the ships that your individual family... You go over to Britain to hang around and look at monuments and shit. What are we doing? Culture and knowledge today, folks. No bum wine. Please hit the like and subscribe. Please hit the like and subscribe. Culture and knowledge today. Thought. Discovering something new, exploring. So now we move forward to 1831, Jamaica, the Baptist War. Sam Sharp's rebellion. Very well known. The largest slave rebellion in Caribbean British colonial history, led by Samuel Sam Sharp, a literate, deeply religious Baptist deacon. The uprising mobilized as many as 60,000 of Jamaica's enslaved population across 10 days and the entire island. Sharp himself was hanged. Again, our revolutionaries ultimately suffer. Before his execution, he reportedly said, "I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live in slavery." Excellent. He's now a national hero of Jamaica, his face on the Jamaican $50 note. What banknote do we have Nat Turner on here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen? Why haven't we talked about that? What do we celebrate and honor in these United States, America, North America? Again, we're running parallels here. 1831, August 21st, Nat Turner. The Baptist War directly accelerated the passage of the Slavery Abolition Act the following year. Britain had had enough. Between these three great rebellions, there were hundreds of smaller acts of resistance, work slowdowns, poisonings, destruction of equipment. I love this. The rebellion coursing through the veins of these people. Runaways, exercising of whatever legal rights existed to challenge abuses in colonial courts. Historians have documented approximately 70 planned rebellions in the Caribbean. Throughout the Caribbean, the islands. 1649 to 1833, meaning that virtually every generation of enslaved people confronted their enslavers with organized resistance. 1649 to 1833. Write it down. And crucially, the entire Caribbean knew about Haiti, the first Black Republic, which had won its independence in 1804 through revolution. They had completely wiped out the indigenous, replaced them with African slaves. That's it. That is Haiti. Wipe out what was there, once there, put a whole bunch of Africans there. 1804, their freedom. Emancipation was not given, it was demanded, fought for, and finally forced upon a system that would have prolonged itself indefinitely if it could have. The scandal nobody talks about. 20 million to the slaveholders, nothing to the enslaved. Here's the detail of the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833 that does not appear in most school curricula. And that remains one of the most instructive facts about who the colonial system truly served. The numbers, documented historical record, 20 million paid by the British government to compensate slave holders, slave masters. 20 million British for the loss of their slaves. Poor slave, poor master, you must be compensated since the Negroes are no longer working for you. Approximately 40% of Britain's entire annual budget went to support these bastards. $0 paid over to the 800,000 people across all of the islands estimated, not to mention the ones that had perished along the way throughout that historical span. The individuals who built the wealth of the British Caribbean with their bodies, their labor, and their lives. The government loan taken out to fund that $20 million in compensation was so large that it was not fully repaid until 2015. 2015, they finished paying the first part of their corrupt portion of their slavery reparations to the white man. 21st century, we're still paying to compensate, meaning that British taxpayers of the 21st century, so you British, were paying to compensate 19th century slaveholders. This is the insanity of the destruction that these people have done and what the corrective measures look like. There should be only one reason in my mind any Caribbean should be patronizing anything in England, and it should be for reparations and acquisition of history. What are we talking about? We have pandered and we have been too apologetic from a human perspective. And it's allowed for apathy to creep into our historical perspective and added this nuance of emotion and feelings. We need to just break open the wound, rip the Band-Aid off, and handle business as humans. This nuance and this bullshit. The compensation was paid approximately 3,000 slave-holding families. Who are these 3,000 slave-holding families? Where's our kickback? The largest single payment of $83,530, equivalent to roughly $65 million today, went to James Blair, an MP who owned 1,598 enslaved on a plantation in British Guyana. Yet he lived in London and likely never met any of the people he owned. What do you do when you go to England, Caribbeans? Other than the fact that it has shit weather, what the fuck are you doing in England? To look at monuments? To kiss the white lady's ass, the queen's ass? What are we doing? You people are apathetic. You have your loyalties in the wrong place. This was not a footnote in history of emancipation at all. This was the architecture of the deal. It reveals without ambiguity who the system was designed to protect. Let's go to England. And it illuminates why the question of reparations, so often dismissed as a radical demand, is in fact a straightforward and historical accounting exercise. August 1st, 1838, the morning everything changed. On the morning of August 1st, 1838, something happened across the British Caribbean that had not happened in over 2 centuries of colonial rule. 2 centuries of colonial rule. The people who had been enslaved woke up and were free. Unconditionally. Legally, without conditions or contracts, or passes required to move from one place to another on the land in which they were born or enslaved. Now, this article is written by a Trini. So in Trinidad and Tobago, the abolition of slavery was declared by the governor, George Fitzgerald Hill, in front of the Treasury building in downtown Port of Spain. Across the islands, Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Guyana, Grenada, St. Kitts, Antigua, Dominica, and the other colonies, similar declarations were made. Church services were held. Communities gathered. People who had never been permitted to simply be, to simply exist, experienced that morning one of the most profound collective moments in their lives. Shout out to Emancipation 2026 and to all the nations across the Caribbean who are celebrating this. I celebrate my people. I celebrate what they have gone through. I celebrate the indigenous and the ancient. I celebrate the slaves and the plight that they went through. Excellent. Excellent. Now, back at it. Where are we going from here? 2026. The 2026 celebration. The Honorable Philippe J. Pierre. Sir, me and you don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But what do you have to say today about emancipation? Let's listen in.
My sisters and brothers of St. Lucia and across our Caribbean community, Today, we remember the women, men, and children, those whose bodies were enslaved, but whose spirits could never be conquered. We remember those who endured cruelty beyond imagination, yet refused to surrender their dignity, their humanity, or their hope. And because they endured, because they resisted, because they believed, we stand today as a free people. That is why Emancipation Day is not simply another date on our calendar. It's a sacred reminder of where we have come from, a reminder of what we have overcome and of what still lies before us. Freedom was never handed to our ancestors. Freedom was demanded. Freedom was fought for. Freedom was paid for with sacrifice, with courage, and with an unbreakable faith. That is why we honor them today, not only with our words, but with our commitment to build the kind of society they dreamed was possible. My fellow citizens, the end of slavery was not the end of injustice. Our ancestors walked into freedom without land, without wealth, without compensation, without opportunity. Yet, those who benefited from their labor were rewarded. History cannot be changed, but history must be understood. Because only when we understand our past can we fully appreciate our responsibility to shape a better future. That responsibility belongs to every generation. It belongs to us. Our Caribbean story is unlike any other. It's a story shaped by the dispossession of indigenous people, the suffering of African enslavement, the experience of indentureship, and centuries of colonial rule. But it is also a story of extraordinary resilience. Out of pain, our people created beauty. Out of struggle, our people created strength. Out of oppression, our people created hope. We built nations, we built communities, we built democracies. We have created music that moves the world, literature that enlightens the world, culture that transforms and enriches the world. And we must never apologize for who we are. We are a Caribbean people. We are proud people. We are resilient people and have every reason to believe in our future. My brothers and my sisters, the work of emancipation continues. Political freedom alone is not enough. Our people deserve economic freedom. They deserve opportunity. They deserve ownership. They deserve prosperity. We must build economies where Caribbean people are creating wealth, not merely consuming it, where our young people see opportunity at home, where our entrepreneurs can succeed, where our farmers, fishers, and manufacturers are valued, where hard work is rewarded with dignity. That is the Caribbean we must build. Our young people must remain at the center of everything we do. Every child deserves a chance to dream. Every young person deserves a chance to achieve. Our schools must prepare them to innovate, to lead, to build businesses, to master technology, to transform our societies. We want our young people to fulfill their potential, to pursue lives of purpose and achievement, and to use their talents to strengthen our nation and our Caribbean community. My fellow citizens, no nation is truly secure if it cannot feed itself. That is why food security matters. Every acre cultivated, every farmer supported, every fisher encouraged, every Caribbean product placed on our supermarket shelves brings us one step closer to genuine independence. The same is true for energy. Our future depends upon affordable, reliable, and cleaner sources of energy. Not only because it protects our environment, but because it strengthens our economy, creates jobs, and lowers the cost of living for our people. These are not simply development goals. They are part of the unfinished journey of emancipation. There is another part of that journey, the pursuit of reparations for slavery. It's not about blame, not about revenge. It's about the truth and justice for the human suffering of slavery. My sisters and my brothers, every generation inherits more than freedom. It inherits a responsibility. Our responsibility is to honor the sacrifices of those who came before us by building a society that is more just, more united, and more prosperous than the one they entrusted to us. The true measure of our freedom lies not only in what we remember, but in what we chose to build together. I believe we are equal to that responsibility because I believe in the people of our Caribbean community. Let us strive to create a CARICOM community where emancipation is measured not only in how we celebrate, but by how we live. Together, let us continue the work begun by our forefathers. Let us strengthen our Caribbean community. Let us build a future worthy of the sacrifices of those who came before us. We are one Caribbean people. May God bless our Caribbean community, and may He guide us always as we continue the unfinished journey from emancipation to justice, to prosperity, and to lasting freedom. I thank you.
All right, and that was a word from not our sponsor, but the Honorable Philip J. Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia. I have to say, again, as your boy CIP does not agree with everything and everything he says and does, it feels very, very good to look in the face of a black man governing a nation who at least presents very, very well during the holiday season. All right? I will bracket my thought process with that statement. All right? So it was nice to hear some very, very, very poignant words from the Prime Minister for this occasion. And I think that if you are not a stupid individual, but an individual who is both intelligent and thoughtful and exploratory in this world, the words he spoke can be borrowed from. You can use small portions of the words that he spoke and apply them to our lives and communities here in America. Now, that's just a thought from your boy CIP, who seeks knowledge and continues to evolve, but I encourage you to think the same way. All right, next up, we have a call for freedom from violence and recklessness. This is Deputy Prime Minister Ernest Hilaire. Let's listen to what he has to say.
For us, it is absolutely significant. And in 2021, just after we won the elections, the first event that the Prime Minister commented on in terms of its observance was emancipation. And he promised St. Lucians that we will not celebrate emancipation in the same form ever again. And as I stand before you, I'm trying to remember how many of you all I saw at the official launch of Emancipation Month, and how many of you all I saw at some of the fetes and all the carnival activities. So that probably says a lot. But it is really important, really, really important. And
we'll shortly talk about that juxtaposition that he just mentioned, seeing people at the fetes and then seeing people at the emancipation activities. There's a little bit of a difference there. There's a fall off in attendance, less of an attendance when it comes to the cultural, historically rich celebrations. But the whining and bum shaking, everybody's there, right?
I mean, I spoke at the launch on Friday. And when you look at the theme for this year, understanding our past to create pathways for the future, it becomes so relevant that as St. Lucians, as a society that is comprised largely of descendants of slaves, we have to try to understand what slavery was about.
Yep.
Emancipation was the end of slavery. But the experience of slavery, the rationale for slavery, all of that we need to understand it. Why was there slavery in the first place? Why were Africans taken from Africa and brought to the Caribbean to work on plantations?
All right. So that clip is his portion of the press conference coming from the Emancipation Day launch. So the official, here's just a quick clip of the launch of the Emancipation Day celebrations. This took place back 5 days ago.
The Cultural Development Foundation, CDF, has officially launched Emancipation Celebrations 2026, unveiling a month-long program of activities under the theme, Understanding Our Past to Create a Pathway for the Future. The launch brought together government officials, cultural practitioners, artists, and members of the public to reflect on the significance of emancipation, while encouraging a deeper appreciation of St. Lucia's history and cultural identity. The observance marks 192 years since the abolition of slavery in the British Caribbean and continues the country's renewed focus on commemorating emancipation through education, reflection, and cultural expression.
The past is not asking us to live in it. It is asking us to learn from it. We do not honor our ancestors by looking only behind us. We honor them by walking the paths they have made possible. That is an invitation of this year's theme, understanding our past to create a pathway for the future. History asks something of us, not simply to remember, but to understand.
The ceremony featured dramatic performances, music, and the spoken word, setting the tone for this year's observance while highlighting the resilience of African ancestors and the role of culture in shaping the nation's future. Organizers also outlined a packed calendar of events running through July and August, including lectures, exhibitions, performances, heritage activities, and community engagements designed to promote learning, remembrance, and national pride.
We now need to reflect on that theme and how each of us individually, like Ramona said, what can we do to create that prosperous future? So today we meet for us to formally present the program of activities for Emancipation Celebration this year. And we'll meet again on the 1st of August in Vieux-Fort. And I ask each of you during this month to take it as an opportunity for us to reflect on what we have been through and how it is we can create a better future.
Addressing the gathering, officials stressed that understanding the struggles and the sacrifices of previous generations is essential to building a stronger and more united St. Lucia. They encouraged the citizens to actively participate in the program of activities and embraced the opportunity to reflect on the country's shared history and chart a meaningful path forward. Emancipation Celebrations 2026 will commence with the official Emancipation Day observance on August 1st and will feature a series of island-wide activities aimed at honoring the legacy of those who fought for freedom and hopefully inspiring future generations. For the DBS News World, I am Amanda King.
Thank you, Amanda King. Wonderful coverage from the lovely Amanda King. Pinball, what's good, my G? Thanks for joining. All right, editorial. From Carnival to Emancipation, Celebrations of Resistance and Resilience. St. Lucia, this is from the St. Lucia Times. This comes to us from the St. Lucia Times. St. Lucia has just concluded one season of celebration, Carnival. And now it transitions into another, Emancipation. There are two intrinsically linked. The origins of Lucian Carnival, like many others across the Caribbean, lie in acts of rebellion. Rebellion against the horrors of the transatlantic slave trade. Carnival is said to have taken shape in Trinidad and Tobago in the late 18th century, emerging from the camp brûlé. The burning of cane rituals, enslaved Africans used drums and sticks as percussive instruments, reconnecting with their roots, reclaiming their identities. Acts of pure defiance against their colonizers. In St. Lucia, similar carnivals began to emerge in the 1940s. While the full history of our carnival has yet to be written, its early days were marked by tension between Catholic influences, cultural appropriation by the bourgeoisie, and the rebellious spirit of the people. Seen most notably in the steel pan drum. Perhaps the unfettered revelry, sometimes bordering on the lascivious, in itself a rejection of colonial and religious constraints. But that's a topic for deeper exploration. Today, Lucian Carnival, once a pre-Lenten festival like Trinidad's, has shifted to summer, though some cultural significance has faded, which is what your boy CIP has mentioned in the past, right? Some of the cultural significance has faded and is overpowered by Bum Bum Wall and Monokini. Food for thought. It's difficult to defend the Bum Bum everywhere and try to suppress what I'm seeing with my eyes while you're telling me that this is a celebration of our ancestors. Choose your words carefully, folks. Choose your costumes. Choose your tribes during carnival season carefully in order to utilize that kind of language. Anyway, back to the article. Rather than lamenting on what has been lost, we have an opportunity to revive its meaning, educate this generation on its roots, and creatively reintroduce historical elements. This year offered glimpses of that effort, and there is hope for more. The same introspection applies to emancipation, which for many St. Lucians once passed without much reflection at all. But over the past 3 years, thanks to initiatives by the government, the Folk Research Center, and the Cultural Development Foundation, that has begun to change. Emancipation Day, observed on August 1st as a national holiday, should be recognized not just as a day off, but as one of the most pivotal moments in Black and world history. It is a day to reflect on our journey, our struggles, and our progress as descendants of Africa. It is also a time to take a look at some of the vestiges of colonialism that may still have us in shackles, both mentally, the perpetual victim that we have in the first world America, the physical shackles, and we must push for their dismantling. This shouldn't be just another excuse for a beach day, endless drinking. We owe it to our children to dig deeper. We owe it to our children. Remember, children don't ask to be born into this world of pain that we subject them to. The least we can do is dig deeper into our histories and share knowledge to understand why we commemorate emancipations, Black History Months, Juneteenth, and what it truly means to celebrate it. St. Lucia transitioned from French to British colonial rule to independence in 1979. 1979. Your boy CIP was born in 1975. Yet the Governor General remains representing the British monarchy in our constitutional and political framework, not to mention the educational framework of the children is based on some bullshit British nonsense. Colonized. Institutionally colonized. If we are to fully embrace emancipation, this too must be addressed, as CIP and the author spoke in unison. This August, a month-long program of activities will mark emancipation under the theme, Understanding Our Past to Create a Gateway to the Future. I do believe that was last year's theme. But at any rate, we urge everyone to participate and engage thoughtfully and to celebrate freedom responsibly, honoring those who fought for the liberties we too often take for granted. Whole lot more barbecues than the whole Chadwick Boseman speech about the ancestors who jumped off the boat or whatever nonsense y'all want to repeat from the Black Panther movies. So many barbecues, so many shootings. God forbid we actually thoughtfully reflect here in America. But at any rate, that is an editorial from Carnival to Emancipation, Celebrations of Resistance and Resilience, coming from the St. Lucian Times. Excellent article. More thought-provoking content. Now we have two different options, two different routes we can go. We can examine what transpired yesterday, Saturday, the 1st, on the island, or we can take a look at the emancipation ceremony. I think this is probably more poignant. The launch of the Emancipation Day celebration for the island. This took place 8 days ago. So what I'll do is, if you find you are so interested, please spend the time, kind of scroll through and experience the Emancipation Day Parade and what took place. We might clip a little bit of it here. But for now, I would like to highlight the launch ceremony. In its entirety, I would like to hear from... Here we are. One moment. As she approaches the stage. They had to do a little bit of a setup here as this duet completed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together once again for her Black and Black Pearl. Not just performing for us, but telling us how we can create a pathway for the future that we desire. At this time, we are pleased to welcome the Executive Director of the Cultural Development Foundation, Mrs. Ramona Henry Wynn, who will deliver her remarks.
So from the cultural perspective, I feel that this is very, very important that we hear from her. So we're going to listen to her. And then I think we will do is we will skip ahead to the Emancipation Day Parade after one more clip I want to show you here of high significance.
Understanding our past to create a pathway for the future. Before I begin, I invite you to reflect on one simple question. What have you inherited that cannot be touched? Not your home, not your land, not your possessions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. However, I will recognize the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, and the Honorable Dr. Ernest Hilaire. What have you inherited that lives within you? Perhaps it's your grandmother's resilience, your grandfather's quiet strength, the sound of drums that stir something deep within you, a lullaby sung in Creole, a story told by an elder, a belief that no matter how difficult the journey, tomorrow can still be better than today. These are the inheritances that matter. They cannot be measured or held in our hands, yet they shape our identity, our values, and our sense of belonging. Our history is much the same. It is the unseen foundation upon which we continue to build. Long before our story became one of emancipation, this island, known to its first inhabitants as Ayanola, the land of the iguanas, was home to the Kalinago people, where relationships with this land reminds us that every nation is shaped by many chapters. Today, as we launch emancipation observances, we pay special tribute to our African ancestors. Their resilience, ingenuity, and unwavering pursuit of freedom transformed unimaginable suffering into an enduring legacy that continues to shape St. Lucia and the Caribbean. But the past is not asking us to live in it. It is asking us to learn from it.
Do you hear that? Did you hear
Message
what she just said? The past is not asking us to live in it. The past is asking us to learn from it. I've just recently done a show, How I Got Here 1.5. Please go back and listen to that show. One of the biggest flaws of a stupid person is self-victimhood and constantly relishing in victimhood. Relishing in we was slaves. Relishing in we was kings. Not learning, not developing anything within yourself that you have taken forward from that experience, but bastardizing it to fit your agenda as a lifetime victim. You're stupid. You are clearly a stupid individual. Not that you're not intelligent, but you are stupid. Learn from the history and evolve.
We do not honor our ancestors by looking only behind us. We honor them by walking the paths they have made possible. That is an invitation of this year's theme, understanding our past to create a pathway for the future. History asks something of us, not simply to remember, but to understand. Because remembering tells us what happened. Understanding asks us why it matters. Our Nobel laureate, Derek Walcott. Oh, just 1 second. Whew. Technology. I think the rain has wet the tablet, so it's a bit static. Just bear with me a second. Mrs. Suraj. People. Sorry about that.
They're making jokes about it. Come on, sis, get it together. You got it.
Our Nobel laureate, Sir Derek Walcott, captured that truth in 4 unforgettable words. The sea is history. History is not confined to books or monuments. It lives in the cadence of our language, in the rhythm of our drums, in the creativity of our artists, in the wisdom of our elders, in the dreams of our young people, and in the choices we make every single day. St. Lucian educator Dr. Didacus Jules reminds us that the future is not something we enter. The future is something we create. Yes. If that is true, and I believe it is, then the future of St. Lucia is not someone else's responsibility. It is ours. The question before us is not simply what our ancestors overcame. The question is what we will become because of what they overcame.
Again, not just the victimhood that we were slaves. What will you become now that you lie on the history that they laid for you? They laid down for you. You just gonna turtle up? You just gonna become a retard and cry? Or are you going to evolve and be something bigger and better, standing on the history that they laid for us? I have to question a lot of the motives of a lot of people, especially a lot of people out here in social media. What I see in these YouTube streets, on this Red app. It's amazing. It's amazing the amount of victimhood, downright sissy behavior, especially from the men. Non-productive circular conversations about blackness. Spineless conversations with no historical value or base.
Will we build a nation where every child knows the value of heritage? Where culture is not seen only as entertainment, but as education, innovation, opportunity, and identity? Where freedom is measured not only by rights, but by responsibility. Where unity is stronger than division and hope stronger than fear. These are the choices that will define our generation. So before we leave here today, let us return to the question with which we began. What have you inherited that cannot be touched?
There we go.
And now, let us ask another. What will you leave behind that cannot be touched?
There we go.
Will it be courage, compassion, integrity, creativity, a deeper love for country, a stronger sense of who we are? May future generations inherit more than our words. May they inherit our courage to protect what is precious, our wisdom to learn from history, our determination to build together, and our unwavering belief that understanding our past is not the end of the journey, it is the beginning of the pathway to our future. On behalf of the Cultural Development Foundation, I invite every St. Lucian to join us throughout this emancipation season, not only to remember, but to reflect. Not only to celebrate, but to recommit ourselves to the work of nation building. May we be the generation that remembers with honesty, leads with courage, creates with purpose, and leaves our children a St. Lucia that is stronger, more united, and more confident in who we are than the one we inherited. This is how we honor our past. This is how we create the pathway for our future. I thank you.
I tell you what, aside from all the... Message! Thank you very much for that, sis. You know, I'll tell you what, aside from all the politics, you will still have divisions amongst people, right? You'll still have divisions amongst people. But it is in no way as divided as blacks in America are. No way as divided as blacks in America are. They got discussions going around now that we got like 4 or 5 or 6 different classes of black in America and be based on behavior and this and that, trying to dissect and add nuance to just either you're a piece of shit or you're somebody who wants progress. It's really all it is. You're either stupid, lazy piece of shit or you're somebody who wants progress. It doesn't have to be nuance. You have to want it. We have made this conversation so extensive that you people look like fools. You look like pure assholes talking in circles. Get up off your lazy ass and learn something. Do something to change the situation you're in. You live in the first world, America. You are free. Let's skip ahead. During the closing of the emancipation ceremony, there's a dedication to the fallen ancestors.
The ritual as we offer our own flowers at this time. So follow as they lay flowers onto the water. Anuale. Anuale. Proceed in groups of 4. We allow the Prime Minister and Minister for Culture to lead, and then we offer in groups our offerings. As you enter, you may stand on the bank surrounding the open area. You can continue to come through. We stand on the bank on the open area with our flowers. Welcome, bienvenue tout le monde. Kotine Pumashi, continue walking onto the perimeter that surrounds the open water area. You are welcome to join, gathering around and offering your flowers.
Dedication of flowers, prayers, and offerings to the ancestors. for today, or excuse me, yesterday, Saturday, we skipped forward, and part of the, and I'll go ahead and mute this here. What we saw there was previously was the launch of the celebration, the initial dedication to the ancestors. Then August 1st, Saturday, fell on a Saturday this year, so I'm sure I'm sure the Islanders weren't happy about that. No day off from work necessarily. It's on the weekend. But we had the same kind of celebration, and I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat. It was a beautiful cultural celebration. And you can guess, there was plenty of poetry, speeches, and memorials honoring the legacy of the ancestors. So on that note, I think we've spent enough time together today celebrating the emancipation celebration throughout the Caribbean. I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to seek knowledge and evolve. Nothing is true and everything is permitted in our lives. Nothing is true and everything is permitted, especially when it comes to our histories. There are moments here when your boy CIP speaks words with more force than what you are prepared for or prepared to hear. No one prepares you for accuracy of statements about what you know to be true. No one prepares you to be challenged. No one prepares us for the pain of self-realization, of our shortcomings. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Growth is pain. Being adult is pain. We are born into an absolute world of pain from which we can derive some of the most pleasurable experiences and parts of our journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please take time today to seek knowledge, learn a little bit of something. Remember, your reality is subjective to what you choose to explore and experience. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Subscribe to my other channels, Culture in Paradise, Cat and Poncho, Gaming. All right. Join the Discord. Plenty of links in the chat going up and down on the screen on the side there. Join the Discord. I don't know what I've got planned for the week, but stay tuned. Stay tuned to my wall, my posts. Stay tuned to the socials, all the different socials, all the different channels. If you're on one channel, go over to the other channel. If you're on the other channel, if you have a channel yourself and you would like to big up yourself, come on over. I will kick a moderator wrench on your name. You can promote your own channel. Come over to the Discord. You can promote your channel there as well. Plenty to learn on the Discord. Plenty of conversation. It's a stream of consciousness from your boy CIP. So all right, y'all. Enjoy your Sundays. Enjoy the rest of your days with your families. Remember to take a lot of pictures of your family members. Take a lot of pictures. Create a lot of good memories. All right. This history is yours. This history is yours. Peace, you guys. Your boy CIP loves you. Big up yourselves.
Rhythm excitement, me foot McIntyre, me foot at the tremble, me brains at the fret. It's so come like this, I'm soaking wet. Then I meet up Gina and Dinah, go Sita and Clementina. They have on the pedal pusher. If you see the big bumper whining in the back.
It's carnival and everybody heating up the
thank you, and I thank the good people of Nepal. You don't even know what you did, but you're brilliant anyway, because the brilliance is the best brilliance is brilliance born not from someone ignorant.
God don't make no mistakes. You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil.